Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Bhagavan made us dwell more and more on the power of prayer. Whatever we do during the non-one-to-one time, that bears a direct impact on the prayer when we try to make in one-to-one. Day for yesterday, we were asked by Papa that we should not be satisfied with anything that we do collectively. It has got its own relevance, but limited relevance. What is more important is our individual sadhana. So prayer, when we chant, when we recite the same words, after 1 or 2 or 3 days, or 1 or 2 or 3 times, it will slip into unknowingly a lip level exercise, leaving no deep impress. That is why when we recite any prayer, what is more important is to go along with the theme. In a congregational meet, there are chances for mind getting dissipated. Though the lack of concentration need not be there. It may be there in few cases. By and large, it need not be there. Take to individual chanting, where we are trying to feel the presence of God, because we are exclusively with God. We are trying to go along with the theme. Today's prayer is a very, very, like all other prayer, it is a very thought-giving, thought-provoking prayer. But before that, we would like to share one anecdote. Normally, because faith matters a lot. This is a true incident. In the year 1979, near the Trivandrum seashore, an elderly gentleman was reading the Bhagavad Gita. That time, a young, talented atheist guy came and sat beside the gentleman. The young guy taunted the gentleman by saying that in the age of science, people are so foolish that they read old-fashioned books like the Gita. He further said that had you devoted this same time to science, then by now the country would have scaled great heights. The gentleman asked the young man for his introduction, which the youth replied that he was a science graduate from Calcutta who had come to make his career in Baba Atomic Research Center. In Trivandrum, there is a Tumba Research Center. The youth further told the gentleman, go, devote his attention to scientific research, as by reading the Bhagavad Gita, he would not be able to achieve anything. The gentleman smiled, got up to leave. As soon as he got up, his four security guards surrounded him, and his driver brought his red beacons fitted with the official car. Seeing all this, the youth panicked and asked the gentleman, who are you? The gentleman replied that his name is Vikram Sarabhai, the chairman of the same organization where the youth had come to make his career. At that point of time, there were 13 research organizations in the name of Vikram Sarabhai, along with which he was also the chairman of committee for atomic planning, having been appointed to the same by then PM Indira Gandhi. Now it was the turn of the youth to be ashamed. He fell down on Sarabhai's feet, crying profusely. It was then that Sarabhai said a very wonderful thing. So we remember. Man fell down on the feet of Sarabhai. He said, behind every creation, there is always the creator. So it doesn't matter whether it is the time of the Mahabharata or today's India. Never forget that. There is a creator, whether in the Mahabharata war or today. There is a creator there. So never forget that. Today's atheist people, by invoking the name of science, may dance as much as they want, but history is witness that science has been created by God, believing theists only. God is eternal truth. God's speech, Bhagavad Gita, is true. It cannot be falsified at all. Just by worshipping it, troubles will surely get resolved. You see, faith, prayer, no, it can come through so many forms. By hearing such this thing, suddenly, whenever we feel shaken because of what is happening outside, though we have faith, it is not that fully grounded. God made Vikram Sarabhai to sit there incognito, and how the boy got blabbered everything. And finally, how the matured man doesn't shout back. He said, mind your business, nothing like that. So many things have to be learned from this. And then finally, that particular word, creator. Even science, applied knowledge is called science. There's a creator. What is creation? They can say. Who is the creator? Nobody can say. With that background, we will today go through the prayer. This prayer has been composed by Swami Omkar Maharaj of Santhi Ashram. Adorable presence, A and P capital. Thou who art within and without, the cells of our being, thou who art the eye of our eyes, ear of our ears, heart of our hearts, mind of our minds, breath of our breaths, life of our lives, soul of our souls. Blessed dear God, to be aware of thy presence now and here. This is all that we ask of thee. May all of us be aware of thy presence in the east and the west, the north and the south. May peace and goodwill abide among individuals as well as communities and nations. This is our earnest prayer. May peace be unto all. Simple prayer. But as we said, suppose we are taking it up in our one-to-one, line by line, we may not be able to understand much. Words can be repeated. Adorable presence, thou who art within and without, no idea. You have to believe the words. Thou who art interpenetrating the very cells of our being, then the reflection, inquiry starts. Doctor, what is the doctor name? Bangalore? Pujya Shetty says, how many, when you get that book, how many cells, trillions of cells are being born and they die every second. How does it happen? To make me a vibrant human being, that mysterious, adorable presence, who is seated within me, is activating, pulsating, motivating, articulating trillions and trillions and trillions of cells. As a student of science, we can easily agree. For every activity that is happening in us, if the cells are not there, Sundar used to sing that Yoham, no? Kanu Kanu. Remember that word? No. Eh? Kanu Kanu. Before that. No, it's here. Yoham. So it is there and in every prayer. They are somehow trying to make us. It is not something outside there. We have to be a little reflexive, a little contemplative, a little meditative. That's all. Then only in this one-to-one, with God, when we visit, suddenly we realize, yes, the cells are working. Thou who art interpenetrating the very cells of our being. Bhujanga Shetty says, we must have read it many a time, but we would have forgotten also, equally. In 1 second, we are producing 1.2 millions of red blood cells to replace an equal number that die. 1.2 million. 1 million is 10 lakhs, is it? So 12 lakhs of red blood cells they are producing to replace equal number that die in 1 second. That is why we exist as individuals. The other one also will repeat. Okay. Our heart beats about 1 lakh times a day, about 35 million times a year. It pumps 6 liters of blood through 1,20,000 kilometers of blood vessels in a day. We are praying to adorable presence, This is not a red blood cells to replace an equal number that die. Our digestive and metabolic into blood, bone, and body structure. The air which we breathe but cannot see contains oxygen, which is exchanged for the excess of carbon dioxide inside and then thrown out without us even knowing it. Every time we get a cut or wound, within seconds, there is a tremendous amount of activity in and around the wound to seal and heal it. Just think. So we are trying to, we take everything as granted, He is now making us to talk, making us to hear, making us to facilitating everything, but we forget. So prayer is a method to remember Him, feel His nearness. The third line, Thou who art the eye of our eyes, the ear of our ears, the heart of our hearts, the mind of our minds, the breath of our breaths, the life of our lives, and the soul of our souls. Again, each line we have to go, I for I. Suddenly we go back to Kenopanishad. In Kenopanishad, the disciple comes and asks the spiritual preceptor, who is the director. Keneshitam praditam, Keneshitam patite proshiti, patati peshitam manakena prana. I will read out in the English text. By whom willed and directed does the mind light upon objects? Commanded by whom does the main vital air proceed to function? By whose will do men utter speech? What intelligence directs the eyes and ears? Same question. Yeneshitam vacham imam vadanti. Chakshustotram kahu deva devo yunam. When we say eye of the eye, in the next sloka, he answers, Srotrasya sotram, same word. Manaso manoyad, vachoha vacham, pranasya prana, chakshusha chakshuhu, adimuchya dhiraha, pretyasmad lokat amadabha. It is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, tongue of the tongue, life of the life, eye of the eye. Having abandoned the sense of self or I-ness in these and rising above sense life, the wise become immortal. So, who is the director behind it? How do I see? At the moment, how do I see? At the moment, how do I hear? Omkarji Maharaj's prayer directly connects us with that power. The one power. Can we explain that? Sorry, we cannot explain. Every one of us can just watch going on. No? Why? The seeing is going on. How does it happen? The before in the Kenopanishad, there is an Ekasloki, Shankaracharya, where there is a dialogue between Acharya and the disciple. So the Acharya asks, how do you see during daytime? How do you see the light? So the disciple answers, during daytime I see the light through sun. During nights I see through lamps. Then the next question comes, how do you the light in sun and the lamp? He said, through my chakshu, my eyes. Then he said, during the night, how do you know that you are seeing it? No. How do you see it? Then he says, it is the intellect. So during the night, how do you see it? And suddenly he says, the light from within. Then he says, I am that light. So the power behind seeing, the power behind hearing, the power behind thinking is that power. The power behind it cannot be explained. Why it cannot be explained? Elaborately, our masters have explained through Vedas that it is the very subject. Only an object can be explained. So it can be told in so many ways. An unknown can be conveyed only through known objects. So I is something which we know. Through I, we see the seeing goes on through I. So the easy way for the preacher is eye of the eye. You know? So I is something which is known. That which is making us to say this cannot be brought within the ambit of knowable. It is not an object. So Omkarji Maharaj wants every one of us, when we repeat his name, to get connected with that very subject through the object. Meaning, the seeing principle in me, the hearing principle in me, the thinking principle in me. We are discussing about the power of the prayer. Just imagine. This prayer can link us, connect us to the very power because of which we are. So this, the power of this prayer is is when it is chanted, when it is reflected seriously. It can connect us to the very power because of which this prayer is now uttered. It may be very subjective. Kindly think about it. Highly subjective. Then only it can be grasped. It cannot be directly conveyed. Yes, now we remember one day, Swami Maharaj made this. It is not, he said, this is not the 100% correct answer, but it can lead you to that answer. So he said, they asked somebody, from the audience, do you know Russian? He said, I don't know. So Swami said, think twice. Yes, I don't know. You know that you don't know. Yes, yes. So there are two knowledges here. The no knowledge, and then he asked, English, yes, I know. You know that you know English. Yes. Swamiji put it in a simple way, so it is very difficult to grasp. The no knowledge of Russian and the yes knowledge of English is known by you. What is that? One is a relative knowledge, the other is, we can say absolute. It's not 100% absolute. We say we can absolute. In the sense, with reference to Russian, I don't know. With reference to English, I know. So relative. But there is one knowledge which illumines both the no knowledge and the yes knowledge. It is something like that. What is that? It cannot be explained. Only these are some of the ways through which it can be. So as sadhakas, we want everything to be given to us in clear-cut terms. It is not possible. We try our level best, but it is not possible. So when we go to Mahatmas, when we go to the Shrutis, we find they direct us to it. And Papa emphatically says, reflection and meditate, contemplation. That is the only way, only gateway. No other thing is possible. Because later on in the same Upanishads, he will say, not that you worship here, he will say, the eye does not go there, nor speech, nor mind. We do not know that. We do not know how to instruct one about it. It is distinct from the known and the unknown. Natat natatra chakshur gacchati, na vak gacchati, no mano, no. So like that, he says all these things are deleted. And then he says, we cannot say what it is. But one thing is sure, that Deva Brahmatvam Vitti. Nedam Yadidam Upasate. This is not what you worship. We are trying, no? We are trying to go within and find out through this word. Eye of the eye. Thou who art the eye of the eye. In a collective function, we may repeat, everybody may repeat. Where is the time for us to reflect? After that, some other thing will be there, some other thing will be there. So it is always better to have this one-to-one where we close our eyes and when we stand, we try to pause, we try to understand the theme behind it. Words cannot express, inferences can lead us to the truth. It could be like this, That also fails here because it is purely a subjective experience. So at the moment, I say adorable presence. This is all that way. Bless us, oh dear God, to be aware of thy presence now and here. I know you are here now. In the form of seeing, in the form of hearing, in the form of smelling, in the form of tasting, in the form of touching. That faculty to do all these things, you are there now and here, but I am not aware. So I pray to you to make us aware of thy presence. This is all that we ask of thee. All of us be aware of thy presence. So when the moment we become aware here, then automatically the east and the west and the north and the south, all other things are. Most important part is this. This is taking us nearer to him, no doubt. Then we plead. We have to leave the shoes there. In his commentary in Upanishad, Swami Chinmayananda used to say, intellect can help us to a very great extent. But in this particular inquiry, they are like shoes to be kept outside. They have no entry there. They are like shoes to be kept outside. Up to that, it helps you to walk here and there safely. But when you go to a holy place, you leave the supper outside. Why? It will not help you. Similarly, the mind and intellect cannot help. And the mind and intellect is our most powerful tools with which we try to understand, grasp. Everything is made possible only through the mind and intellect. But here emphatically says it cannot help us. So the ultimate is surrender, no prayer. Only you, somehow you, how does he do that? It has been explained that when mind and intellect does not function, how does it get conveyed? It gets conveyed through intuition. Intuition is not a product of a thought or a form of a thought. It is just a flash coming from the soul. So when Papa as devotees of God, spiritual aspirants, when we try to move towards the goal, God, so many methods have been prescribed. The method he advocated was Nama and prayer. Whenever the mind goes out, the Nama brings it back. And prayer from the bottom of the heart. Bottom of the heart means it is one to one. In another way, it is called one to one. Bottom of the heart. Nothing else is there. Nobody is there. I am quite unaware of the external surroundings. Only me and the power is there. Me and the power which makes me to feel I am. The Lord of the universe. That is why he is called the indwelling, pervading reality. Indwelling power and all pervading reality. The one which makes at the moment to say these words. The power at the moment which makes everyone to see and hear. Be approached through mind and intellect. That power can be approached only through reflection, contemplation, meditation, where we leave the mind and intellect outside. In order to enable us to keep the mind and intellect outside, Papa wants us to take to intense chanting so that no other thought intrudes there. And finally, the chanting also stops and the gateway is open and we get a glimpse of that experience. So again, we will read with this background. Adorable presence, thou who art within and without, above and below and all around, thou who art interpenetrating the very cells of our being, thou who art the eye of our eyes, the ear of our ears, the heart of our hearts, breath of our breaths, the mind of our minds, the life of our lives, and the soul of our souls. Bless us, dear God, to be aware of thy presence now and here. This is all that we ask of thee. May all of us be aware of thy presence in the east and the west, the north and the south. May peace and goodwill abide among individuals as well as communities and nations. This is our earnest prayer. May peace be unto all. When we say earnest prayer, suddenly we feel this is not our earnest prayer. We simply repeat, make us to become earnest. So every time this prayer should come. Prayer is a word through which we can find. No, I'm just uttering because I used to utter. I'm just reading because I used to read. If once it has entered, then that is enough for them. The entire sadhana becomes complete with that. Purpose of sadhana is to get ourselves connected to that power because of which the sadhana is being done. So, so vyapak hai kan kan. That which is omnipresent and resides in every atom, the one which does not get destroyed with time. I am the very pure awareness, existence, bliss. नहीं तीन कालों में हो नाश जिसका वही आत्मा सच्चिदानंदमय हूँ अमर आत्मा सच्चिदानंदमय हूँ जो व्यापक है कण कण में है वास जिसका. So there are so many ways by which our elders, they have composed various types of prayer, hymns, so that we somehow go near the gate. But what we do is we just say that and we don't go to the gate. Again, we go back to the world outside. In a way, we can say these are all the paths through which we can get in. Just like we have got password, to enter into the computer or the laptop. Suppose I just learn it and I don't use it. So these are all some of the prayers are, the words in the prayer are helping us in the form of this password. we become at least at the thought level aware of his presence through these passwords. And then by intent one to one, we try to move towards him. For a fraction of a second, he will make us aware. Again, probably by habituation, we are out again. Again, we need one more pass to go in. Every time when we close this, we have to do that. This is something which we should not forget. Go back to Papa's words. Post it. Oh, where are we now? Area. Therefore, this very shloka meaning of which it is over. No? So it is not proper for us to ask for any material things. It is not proper for us to ask God for any material things. Only for things of the highest value, namely the realization of Him. To see, to feel, to have His contact and companionship always. That's what we were telling Him. That is the only thing we want. To see, to feel, to have His contact and companionship always. This can be possible only when we find Him within ourselves as the all-pervading universal. When you tune yourself with Him, for this tuning, prayer is necessary. Become one with Him as the universal truth, then you will never miss Him. You will have His presence always with you. At every point, there is contact with Him. This is the challenge for all of us. Wherever you see, it is He. Whatever you feel, it is Him. In all manner of ways, you will have contact with Him. And this comes through the realization of God within us as the immortal, changeless, all-pervading truth. And this is done through prayer. Done with no selfish motive in it. Not with a desire to get anything from Him, except that everlasting state in which we feel our oneness with Him. Health, wealth, and so many things of the world come and go. Even this body is not permanent. So to pray for anything perishable is not the correct way. When God can grant us immortality, why should we ask Him for things that are mortal, which are changing, which are impermanent? This is how it's named as right prayer. What is a right prayer? We all do pray. The two things are very clear. Prayer should be exclusively for becoming aware of His presence. Constant awareness. This is the toughest challenges all of us are facing. First is nearness. Second is coming. We should feel His presence. Then He is pervading everywhere. And finally, we become one. Make me thine and thine only forever and ever. That is the final one. The first I should feel His nearness. And prayer does help us to feel His nearness. Once again, we will read Papa's word. So it is not proper for us to ask for any material thing. Only for things of the highest value, namely the realization of it. To see, to feel, to have His contact and companionship always. That can be possible only when we find him within ourselves as the all-pervading universal truth. Give me the chairs here. To see, to feel, to have his contact. Chair. To see, to feel, to have his contact and companionship always. This can be possible only when we find him within ourselves as the all-pervading universal. When you tune yourself with him, become one with him, then you will never miss him. You will have his presence always with you. At every point, there is contact with him. That is what Papa has brought out. Yesterday we were reading. Not only in holy places, we should try now to see him in marketplaces, school, hospital, factory, field, everywhere. Not only in mosques, churches, temples. We should be able to feel his presence. And then in one poem he says, I find him everywhere. So this is only by this way we can do that. And this is done through prayer. It is there. It is there. This is another very touching anecdote. A man's daughter had asked the local minister to come pray with her father, pastor. When he arrived, he found the man lying in bed with his head propped upon two pillows. An empty chair sat beside his bed. He assumed that the old fellow had been informed of his visit. That's why he has kept ready the chair. I guess you were expecting me, he said. No, who are you? The father. Then he told him his name and then remarked, I saw the empty chair and I figured you knew I was going to show. Oh, yeah, the chair. Would you mind closing the door? Puzzled. He shut the door. I have never told anyone this, not even my daughter, said the man. But all of my life, I have never known how to pray. I used to hear everybody talk about the prayer, but it went right over my head. I abandoned any attempt at prayer. The old man continued. Until one day, 4 years ago, my best friend said to me, prayer is just a simple matter of having a conversation with God. Here is what I suggest. Sit down in a chair, place an empty chair in front of you, and in faith, see God in the chair. It is not spooky because he promised, I will be with you always. Through all his thing, all Vedas, Shastras, Mahatmas, this assurance has come to us. I will be with you always. Then just speak to him in the same way you are doing with me right now. So I tried it and I have liked it so much that I do it a couple of hours every day, one to one. But we were talking about one to one. I'm careful. So if my daughter saw me talking to an empty chair, she would either have a nervous breakdown or send me off to a funny farm. The other man was deeply moved by the story and encouraged the old man to continue on the journey. Then he prayed with him, anointed him with oil, returned. 2 nights later, the daughter called to tell him that her daddy had died that afternoon. Did he die in peace? He was asked. Yes, when I left the house at about 2 o'clock, he called me over to his bedside told me he loved me and kissed me on the cheek. When I got back from the store an hour later, I found him dead. But there was something strange about it. Apparently, just before Daddy died, he leaned over and rested his head on the chair beside the bed. What do you make of that? The other man wiped a tear. I wish all go like that. Because the old man was feeling the presence of God and he laid his head at the lap of. So here Papa is now reminding us how powerful the prayer is. When it is rendered in the way in which it is rendered, the right prayer. When with what bhava we should have. Any symbol. We remember when we went to Haridwar many, many years back, there is an Ayyappa temple there. Something unique, even now we can remember. Now it has become a big temple. At that time, 30, 40 years back, it was a small temple. And the Pujari was there. Every time he passes, there are three, one main temple and two for Upa Devas. But every time the Pujari comes and passes through any of these temples, he will not just pass through, he will go down before the deity and then go. And before getting into the shrine, he will first touch the footstep. When he came out, we asked him, that his presence is there. Though he is nameless and formless, for the sake of all of us, he has also assumed a name and form and has given us an opportunity to serve him in this form. He is sitting there. How can we just ignore and go? He was teaching us the fundamentals of feeling the presence. Mentally, mentally you feel the presence. It is not an idol. It is not something kept there. It is the very present, just like this old man was seeing. It was not a chair. It was a chair on which God was sitting. Similarly, that man taught us. Whenever you pass through that, when you feel his presence, how can you ignore? How can you go without going down, without respecting him? And the moment we enter, he is staying here. This is his abode. Because he has given me a name and form, he wants me to worship him also through a name and form. Though he is nameless and formless. See the difference. Ah, yeah, we immediately we, we develop a feeling. Moment we enter the bhajan hall. That is our sanctum sanctorum here. No? We feel that is why we offer. It is not a offer, our offering. It is an offering every day morning reverently. Offering every day morning reverently. All our gratitude, all our gratitude, all our develop that. We cannot ignore that. We cannot ignore. Even suppose in Kerala, people when they tie the dhoti, whenever they see a respectable person, they will immediately like. So whenever suppose we are passing through, immediately automatically it will come to us. Even when we go through the flag post, mind will not say to go in an apradakshina way. Because every important incident, say occasions, We hoist the flower. It is not a flag hoisting ceremony. There is an emotional, sentimental, mental involvement there, where we are trying to, and the Om is the ultimate, and it is to be scaled. And the person who hoists will have the privilege of knowing I am doing my self-efforts which you have granted me. I cannot do it by myself. If the flag post is not there, if the choir is not there, if the flag is not there, I cannot do it. But when everything is arranged, I do this. That's all. Everything you have facilitated, and you have given me an opportunity now to do it. Make me to remind that I have to go up, scale the heights. That is hoisting. So when we do that with that bhavana, whenever we pass through the flag post, we cannot ignore. At that moment, honestly, it comes before us. The flag that is fluttering now, it is a symbolic representation of the one which we have to scale, the height to which we have to scale. So, like that, prayer. So, the idea is now to develop that bhavana in our mind. Otherwise, prayer becomes a lip level, external, ritualistic exercise. This particular old man, the episode clearly gives us that when you have 100% faith, when you feel that he is there, he could leave the body, placing his head at the holy feet of the Master. So these are all something not for just hearing. It will all help us in our own way, in our house, whenever we pass through Swami room. We don't do just like that. We feel his presence every day morning after our bath, before we go to work, before we going anywhere. We will just go and do our pranam there and go. It is not to the photo that we are doing. It is not to the idol that we are doing. It is not for the statue we are doing. It is a reality which is symbolically represented. That is why we do pranams. We take the tirtha. Whenever we offer the flowers and then we take it as prasad. We offer Naivedya and take it as a prasad. So every time we remind ourselves the right bhavana. So Papa wants every one of us to develop that bhavana.